Hey, happy Sunday to you. I hope you're having yourself a great day and staying warm. It is like negative 10 degrees here today in Northeast Wisconsin. It was that way yesterday too. I am Eric, and you are watching Eric's Crypto Corner. I'm a tax accountant with over 17 years experience in that industry, and I've also been in the crypto space for over 5 years. Let's go ahead and start today's video. Okay, so a couple videos in a row about mining, solo mining, Bitcoin, stuff like that. I've had a few viewers comment about what about Bitcoin Cash, BCH. They wanted to kind of see what the odd differences were, what the reward differences were. Obviously, they're huge when we're talking about those things. But I wanted to make today's video about the comparing or the comparison of mining solo mining BCH or Bitcoin Cash versus mining Bitcoin or BTC. So let's go ahead and see how that looks. So the first thing to do when you're looking at any kind of solo mining situation here, we want to head over to solochance.org. Now there are some other sites, that you can go to as well that will give you similar results, but I just use this one. And as you already know, I have about 7 terahash of power for mining Bitcoin. And when we click on calculate, it's going to show us our odds, are basically chance per year right now, 1 in 2,640 chance as of today. Now, these numbers change obviously every day, probably every hour, probably every 10 minutes, because that's when a block is found. But that's what my odds are right now to mine a Bitcoin block. And as you've seen in other videos, people hit these things regularly. So it doesn't mean that you have to wait 2,640 years in order to hit a block. That block can be hit today. It can be hit tomorrow. We don't know. This is just the average, that you would have to basically be mining for. So if you mined for 2,640 years, you should hit, at least one block. That's kind of the way that I read that there. Now, when we look at our odds with Bitcoin Cash, we can change this here to Bitcoin Cash, and let's see what our odds change to. Obviously, they're going to be significantly better. So when I click on calculate, we can see our chance goes from 1 in 2,600 plus years to 1 in 19. Really, that's pretty darn good. I mean, that basically means that in 19 years, you should definitely hit a Bitcoin Cash block at least one time. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, Eric, those odds are really, really good. Why would we want not do that? Well, it's pretty clear, why we wouldn't do that. And that is because the rewards are significantly lower. Okay, so the reason why you can hit a block so much better or more often or whatever is flatly because there just aren't as many people mining BCH because it's just not as profitable. That's just all it comes down to. So when you look at Bitcoin Cash, you're going to get the same block reward of 3.125, which is the same thing as Bitcoin. It has, since you're on the same network, on, oh my God, I forgot the SHA-256. I almost forgot it there. Oh my God. Anyways, you're on the same SHA-256 network. Your rewards are the same as 3.125 of whatever you're mining. So Bitcoin Cash, you do get a reward of 3.125 Bitcoin Cash, just like you would get a reward if you were mining Bitcoin of 3.125 Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin Cash isn't, $88,000 or $90,000 or whatever it is today's value. You only get like 500 some dollars because that's how much Bitcoin Cash is per coin. All right. So when we take our 3.125 times the 580 or whatever, you're only really walking away with about $1,800. Okay. Now, you may say to yourself, well, I'd rather mine something that I can hit more often. Hey, maybe I can hit Bitcoin Cash over and over and over. And that's true. It's just that $1,800 for me, and for most people that mine Bitcoin, just isn't really super exciting. So it's like, okay, well, I made $1,800. Now my odds of hitting that block, yeah, I got to wait another 20 years to make $1,800 or 19 years, like we saw in the odds page on the solachance.org. I think more people are just more inclined to just kind of stay away from Bitcoin Cash than they are to continue mining Bitcoin, even though their odds are obviously significantly better at hitting Bitcoin Cash. Now, the really big question comes down to, how much hash rate do you really have? How much power are you willing to really invest into solo mining? And what do you really want to mine? Do you want to mine something that's going to pay you out smaller amounts of money and having better odds, of hitting a block? Or would you rather keep mining something that if you hit a block, you're like, like hitting a Bitcoin block to me is, oh, okay, my house can get paid off or something like that. Whereas hitting a BCH block for $1,800, maybe that makes a mortgage payment for a month or two, or pays your rent for a month or two. And that's great. That's not bad, but it's not really to me like life-changing money. So that's really what it comes down to. And I'll tell you, honestly, my biggest issue with why I don't mine anything but Bitcoin solo mining is because of the difficulty. So when we look at our difficulty here, let me bring that up. Okay, so when we look at our solo pool, that we're running, that I have 3 little machines that are on my own node, which we've done in other videos. We've talked about setting up your own node and other things like that. And so I have 3 out of my 4 little tiny miners, my home miners, mining away on my own little node. And we've done pretty well. Our node has been up for 4 weeks. This little Avalon Nano 3, it's kind of glitchy. I've had some issues with this thing just kind of rebooting, and then when it reboots on its own, it doesn't fire back up to like mining normally. It has a lot of errors and whatever. So I think this thing is starting to kind of wind its way down, and I've only had it for like, I don't know, 8-9 months. So I'm kind of disappointed, that this has some technical issues. But the Nano S3 or 3S, sorry, and the Lucky Miner 07 both have been hitting these pretty good gigabyte difficulties, billions is what it's registered in on public pool. Now, let's just say, you hit a Bitcoin block, the difficulty we know, is 148 trillion, right? So obviously I'm super far away from hitting that. We've got a long way to go. It shows that our best difficulty is 12 billion and the difficulty to hit a Bitcoin block is 148 trillion. So obviously I haven't even hit like 100 billion yet. As I've mentioned before, my best share ever on CK Pool was like 220 billion. So I haven't even broached or cracked the 1 trillion mark, let alone 148 trillion. So I understand, that is very, very low, low chance of me ever hitting that. But if I do hit 148 trillion, I get a Bitcoin reward. Okay. Yay. As we talked about just recently, that's pretty much life-changing money for most people. Now imagine mining BCH, and here's something I just want you to listen to that's kind of important. Imagine that you're mining BCH or anything else on the Bitcoin, SHA-256 network. I'm talking about, the lower end stuff that you can mine. Imagine hitting 148 trillion difficulty while you were mining BCH or anything else that was lower than that. Just imagine how your heart would feel, or like how you would feel waking up this morning going, oh, well, I hit a BCH block. I got $1,800, but let's just say your difficulty was 150 trillion, that you hit that difficulty on a BCH block of 150 trillion. I would be so bummed out that I did not score $275,000 or $250,000 worth of rewards from mining Bitcoin versus a whoop-de-doo $1,800 BCH reward. That's really where I come at this from. And that's really why I don't mine BCH or anything below that. All right, now I just popped over to miner or mining pool stats and seeing what other things you can mine underneath the SHA-256. So I'm just going to type in the SHA. So obviously, Bitcoin is the big one. Bitcoin Cash is the second big one. Then you've got some little things here like SV, eCash, Verus, Fractal. To be perfectly honest, if you are really excited about hitting blocks all the time, then just do DigiByte. And when I very first started solo mining, just to make sure that my equipment was actually functioning, I did mine DigiByte and you'll hit blocks on this regularly. The problem with DigiByte is, obviously the rewards are so small. I think they're like $3, something like $3 or something like that. So when you look at DigiByte, you're not going to really get any money for hitting blocks, but you can feel happy that you're hitting blocks because you'll do it pretty often. But I'm just saying that if you come over here and look at the SHA-256, you can look at other coins. If there's something that you are really, happy about, like maybe you really like mining DigiByte or Fractal, or something else like that, and you just really like hitting blocks and that's just something fun for you to do, well, that's great. But when you're hitting blocks that often, then and you're not holding DigiByte because you don't really believe in it, because you probably don't, you're just mining it to hit blocks, and then you're probably converting it to Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or something else that you believe in that's going to go up in value, or Dogecoin or whatever. You may as well just pool mine then. You may as well just pool mine Bitcoin, or pool mine something else, because hitting these blocks as often as you're not really coming out ahead versus you pool mining. So I'm just letting you know that you can come over here to the Mining Pool Stats website and check out what SHA-256 algorithms you can mine with any of your home Bitcoin miners that you might have floating around, whether they're the nanos like I have, a Lucky Miner like I have, a BitX like I have, or anything else that's significantly bigger. All right, so I hope that this video kind of helps you understand what the advantages to mining BCH and anything really underneath that from a market cap standpoint on the SHA-256 algorithm is what the advantages are to doing that. You're going to hit blocks more often. You're going to get rewards more often. You're going to feel good because you're going to see the little block found. You're going to see something hitting your wallet, which is really a good thing. The huge disadvantages to me, if you were to hit something that was just out of the park, 150 trillion or higher difficulty, oh my God, I don't know how you could even get through a day knowing that you could have hit, a life-changing amount, but you didn't. To me, that's why I stay away from the smaller cap things. That's why I only mine Bitcoin. And honestly, there's a little part of that with Bitcoin being what it is. And I have faith in Bitcoin, like we talked about in other videos, that I would rather support a network that I believe is providing value to the world, as it were, or to people. That there's something there that has some value to it. Now, you may disagree with me, and that's fine. You can go ahead and mine whatever you want to do. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just giving you my opinion. So if you want to solo mine, BCH or something smaller, go for it. You want to mine DigiByte all day and hit blocks all the time, go for it. That's totally your call. Have fun doing whatever you're doing. This video is just for comparison between these couple of different crypto projects. Okay. So thanks for watching today's video. If you have any questions about, solo mining, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, DigiByte, anything else, feel free to post in the comments below. You know me, I'm always responding to these comments all the time within 24 hours. So as usual, this video is for informational purposes and educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Until next time, peace.